Now that the dust has settled with Conformation and Recreation, I think it's worth looking back on. Don't worry, by this thumbnail, I'm pretty sure you know I think it still sucks. Gabriel and Tomoe induce nightmares to everyone on Earth so that they can sell a cure in the form of the Alliance rings. Of course, these rings are going to turn people into Monarch's minions who have the ability to track down the Ladybug and cat Miraculous. Adrien is crippled by the nightmares and tells Plagg to take the Miraculous to the Guardian. Marinette fights Gabe. Marinette defeats him, de-transforms in front of him because she's an idiot, gets stunned because she's still an idiot, and Gabriel rewrites reality. Happy epilogue montage. Gabriel is honored as a hero who fought Monarch and sacrificed himself. Marinette distributes the Miraculous. Lila takes over as the new main antagonist. This sucks. There's a lot wrong with this episode. Let's start by pointing out what's right. I'll criticize a lot, but I won't criticize the action between Monarch and Marinette. This goes very well. The fact that Marinette actually tried to kill him at one point earns a lot of my respect. Let's start with the problems that make me want to scream to the skies. We have a rather egregious continuity issue in this episode. Now, in a long-running show like Miraculous, continuity issues will happen, and retcons will also happen. The problem is that the continuity issue happened in the episode prior. You see, in that episode, we got this cringy performance art piece with Kagami and Felix revealing that they are both senti-monsters. Adrien is a senti-monster. Ugh. And Gabriel is Monarch. So treating Gabriel's identity right here as a big reveal just makes Marinette look like a forgetful idiot. Not a good way to set up your protagonist meeting your antagonist in his own lair. This change doesn't justify the continuity error at all. I'm on the side of you can violate continuity so long as the story quality is good, and this doesn't. It really doesn't. Then we have the problem with Adrien. Adrien sleeps through the finale, quite literally, because he's fearful of how his now limitless destructive potential can cause horrific catastrophes and turn him into Chat Blanc. Oh dear. Why would you give him limitless destructive potential and set up this arc literally episodes before the finale and literally in the finale itself? He literally gives up the ring and tells Plagg to go further the plot without him, and honestly the plot is worse off without him. It's Adrien's conception under the damaged Peacock Miraculous that kicks off the entire series. Gabriel would never become a supervillain had the Peacock Miraculous not been damaged and Adrien not been born. And we established that Gabriel is overbearing and controlling. Adrien being Cat Noir is the only time Gabriel could not control him. Yet here we are with Marinette and Gabe fighting over Adrien's fate. I feel like a scene in one of those sitcoms or movies where you say, why don't you ask Jane what she wants? And honestly, why doesn't anyone ask Adrien what he wants? Why are Marinette and his dad fighting over his fate for him? And honestly, that probably would be the biggest sin of this episode and series as a whole if what happened next didn't happen. The whole Marinette being too stupid to disarm Gabe before he stuns her. Seriously, Marinette, this sympathetic girl act would be so much better if you weren't so stupid. Give him a pep talk after you disarm the man. Especially if he still has that one-hit stun B Miraculous on him. And Gabriel makes his wish. So we spent 5 seasons going on about how Gabriel winning would be the worst thing ever. We literally have a perspective of someone where Gabriel wins and he has to go back in time to prevent Gabriel's victory. Gabriel destroys the world and rebuilds it in his own image, but the problem is that it's not a problem at all. This is a very happy ending and a happy montage, in stark contrast to the 5 seasons of build-up over why Gabe getting the Miraculous is a terrible idea. What is there to look back on and say, the struggle was worth it? There's nothing to look back on, because the struggle ultimately wasn't worth it. Oh, and Marinette distributes the Miraculous to all the heroes. Woohoo! A bunch of sycophants plus Felix. And to make this ending even worse, there's the whole part where Marinette isn't even being mind-controlled by Gabe or anything. Gabriel asked her to make Adrien remember Gabe as a good parent. Marinette doesn't tell Adrien the truth. Instead, she lies to him about it. Before anyone says, this is the Spider-Man 1 thing with the Green Goblin not wanting Harry to know. I will remind you that Adrien still doesn't know that he's a senti monster. You know, a being that can be snapped out of existence if his amok is smashed, or heaven forbid, Felix ends up losing the Peacock Miraculous. I will also remind you that Harry Osborn went nuts and became the new Goblin in Spider-Man 3. Marinette doing what Gabriel says to do was utterly stupid. And you know how Lila is going to take over as the big bad now? Unless she secretly turns out to be a mafia princess, she lacks the grandeur Gabe had even with his smooth-brained antics. Lila's only benefit is that she brings the collective brain processing power down in the room she walks into. These episodes are the character assassination of just about everyone. Marinette lying to Adrien is framed as her sparing his feelings and that it's going to make everything okay. In reality, it just makes her look emotionally manipulative. As in, she's trying to get in the good graces of her would-be father-in-law manipulative. There's also the fact that Gabriel has been a crazed supervillain. Why would Marinette think that his decisions going forward are good decisions? Marinette, you've been fighting this smooth brain for 5 seasons. I don't think that listening to him would yield any good for anyone. And before anyone says Adrien can simply pull a Harry Osborn in all this, I really don't care. They threw away a storyline about him and his family for a lesser storyline, and honestly, considering how they don't want to dirty up Adrien's character, intentionally at least, I honestly don't think he would play a Harry Osborn role at all. I'm not even sure why anyone thought making Gabe the main antagonist was a good idea. Why center around the Agreste family if you don't want any of them to react to it? Why isn't Gabe Marinette's dad instead? At least the emotional connection would be there. Also, anyone else in this fandom mildly concerned that just about everyone in Adrien's family and immediate vicinity is basically lying to him about the exact same thing? The amount of coddling Adrien has, plus being locked out of his own family drama, just degrades his character into a pointless joke. And it's painful to see good ideas be degraded into pointless jokes. But those are just my thoughts on the matter. Please consider liking, subscribing, tipping the channel on Ko-fi. This is Cyril signing off.